Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special bonus episode of the Frankie Gruns podcast with Tony, Dave, and James. I am your bonus host, Jimmy, and I'm here with
Big Tasty Tony B.
Yeah.
Dastardly Dave, I guess.
He's dastardly today.
I'm dastardly today.
I beg to differ, but that's...
I'm feeling it.
Are you?
I'm feeling it.
Are
I'm
you?
feeling dastardly.
No, I was going to say you're looking like JT's mugshot, but that's...
Oh!
I literally just found out about that. We are here on a special day, on a special bonus time, because we have yet another film festival to cover. The wonderful folks at Tribeca invited us back again for some reason.
They must love us. God bless them. God bless their hearts.
And they were happy to provide us with some press and industry screenings that we were able to watch from the comfort of our own homes. Thank you, Tribeca, for continuing this virtual thing so that we don't have to travel.
Big ups to Tribeca.
We love it. So let's get into it. We got a few movies we want to talk about from the festival. We want to cover all those off for you, tell you what to watch out for, what to look out for, and we'll go from there. How are we feeling?
So I can do it.
Yeah?
Rock on.
Rock on. All right. Who's starting this?
Tony, you are the director of the moment.
Oh.
So
I am
direct me.
directing this conversation.
Direct the conversation. I don't know why my eyes are just closed. I just don't feel like opening them right now.
All right. Let's start off with something a little wacky and a little bit of a tongue twister. We're going to start with the shallow tale of a writer who decided to write about a serial killer.
Ooh.
Excellent.
Won second place in the audience favorites.
Yeah, I get that. I can understand that.
Quick overview of the shallow tale.
Go for it.
Are you just going to call it the shallow tale? You're not going to give it its full...
No.
The shallow tale of a writer who decided to write about a serial killer, yes.
Okay, so the shallow tale of a writer who decided to write about a serial killer is about a struggling writer in the midst of a divorce befriends a retired serial killer who incidentally becomes his marriage counselor by day and killing counselor for the next book by night.
Yes.
It stars the ever so great Steve Buscemi.
It does.
And John
Magaro.
Yes,
and obviously Britt Lower.
Yes.
She stars in it as well, and she is absolutely a firecracker in this film.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't necessarily say firecracker is the correct descriptor, but I'll let you have it.
Let me have it.
It's fine. Going back to the firecracker well.
All right. What else do you want me to say? All right, James, what did you think of this movie?
I really had a lot of fun with this movie. I didn't really know what to expect considering its ridiculously long title.
Yeah.
But Steve Buscemi is usually a good enough hook for me to watch a lot of things.
I think I just saw Steve Buscemi and I was just like, I'm in.
Sure. Yeah.
It's true. It's true. When you see his name on anything, you're like, yeah, all right.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was a wildly twisty and turny journey down this writer's sort of foray into it. It had a lot of like fun comedic moments, a lot of like comedy by, lack of information for some of the characters. They just, didn't know what they were getting into sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kept getting progressively more and more fucked up the longer than it went. It was really just like, how far can we continue to push this? And it just continues to go and go and go all the way up until its ridiculous ending.
Yes.
I thought the movie was fucking random.
It's
like
random.
It was like completely random. You didn't really know what was going to come next. You're always on your toes, and it was just fucking stupid. But
sure.
Like harmless. Harmless entertainment.
It's pretty fucking harmful, Tony. Well, they say some harmful shit.
It's super fucking bleak. But I'm saying harmless in that, It's a pretty
Yeah.
fun watch.
And what is she cutting in that one scene? Is it onions?
Yeah,
It's like
so
that's a lot
many
of fucking
onions.
onions.
Yeah.
A bag of onions.
Yeah.
Like it is
Like
a
a
ludicrous amount
like a
of
Costco size.
whatever
bag
you
of
think
onions.
is too many onions, double it. That's where she was at, cutting onions in that scene. But I kind of liked that. I liked that it was kind of like you didn't really understand where this movie was going to go, how Steve Buscemi even fits into it. I know it tries to Rashomon itself in the beginning, but it doesn't really.
Yeah.
But once you get sort of at the beginning of the story, you're just like, wow, I'm watching just sort of like this loveless relationship fall to bits. How
really uplifting stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then how does Steve Buscemi fit into all this? And then you're like, oh, now I understand
Now I
how
get
he
it.
fits into all this. And then it just got more and more unhinged as it went along. Until that bathroom scene at the end.
Yeah. I didn't like the ending at all. I hated the ending.
From the post the hotel or motel bathroom scene or the motel bathroom scene?
That's fine. It's just it reminded me a lot of what was that goofy one we saw? Eileen, is that what it's called?
Yeah, Eileen. Yeah.
Eileen, yeah, where it just kind of just like
Goes off the rails.
it goes off the rails and then it's just like, huh,
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. What do you do with that?
all right, cool.
Yeah.
It just kind of feel like I get it. I get what they're going for, and I love the neo noir elements.
Sure.
And I love the look of it and the cleverness of the back and forth between everybody. I thought Britt Lower was great as well.
Yep.
She's
Agreed.
a very underrated actress, and she's awesome in this.
Yep.
And John Magaro, anytime he pops up in anything, he's lovely.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
He's
And
aces for sure.
just watching the two of them in their quote unquote marriage counseling scenes.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Like
So good.
Yeah.
beautiful,
so good.
beautiful scenes. But yeah, by the time it ended, I was just like, what? Fuck, what?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was annoyed by the ending.
It just
too.
kinda-
kind of takes you right out of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of just took the wind out of my
Yeah,
sails.
Absolutely.
Which is
That I
fine.
agree
Like
with.
it's fine. And it's for what it is, it's fine. It's just kind of like I wanted a little bit more, maybe, or like a little bit more
Just maybe a different kind of ending than what they went with. Yeah.
catharsis,
Yeah.
as opposed to what we got.
Yeah. I agree.
And I just all that black and white fucking nonsense.
Yeah.
The book nonsense.
Yeah.
Nonsensical
Yeah.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Like I know it's on purpose. It's on purpose that it's nonsensical bullshit, but I was just like, no.
It's yeah.
I didn't like it the first
Like,
time.
yeah,
Don't show
I
it to me
don't-
again.
And I don't want the extended cut of it. Like, get out
Yeah.
of here.
Yeah. Like it's an enjoyable film. It's
Sure.
just I wanted more.
Yeah. Could have been better,
Yes.
but was still fun to watch.
Yes.
This is where
And you
I'm
know,
at.
Steve.
It's Steve
And
Buscemi.
Steve
Can't go
Buscemi's
wrong with
great.
Steve Buscemi.
And it's
Yeah.
like it's Steve Buscemi where he's not dialed up. He's like dialed down, but he's still
the most toned down, and yet
he's still unhinged
Yeah.
as fuck. Like
Yeah.
it's still your regular Steve Buscemi performance. He's toned down.
yeah, he
there's a-
doesn't need to be over the top because the movie's over the top.
Yeah.
He's just feels normal in this,
Yeah.
which is weird.
It's just him on like a Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like that is his Tuesday afternoon.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Not murdering people, I hope.
No, everything else, like going to meet a weird, like, what was it,
He was a-
Armenian gun dealer with a llama that's looking after a
The
llama.
llama.
Yeah.
See what I mean? Like it was just so fucking random. Like
I enjoyed
trying to explain this to people. They'll probably be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like I don't understand.
Yeah,
Like you can't make. You honestly could not make up that what happens in that movie.
yeah,
And like just like trying to predict it and stuff. Like it goes like left field, right field. Like it's just
Yeah.
all over the fucking place, man. It was wild.
Forgot about the damn.
you can't forget about. How do you forget about the llama? They have like an entire debate about
Yeah, I know
like,
they had a debate.
what
about
does
the
it
llama.
eat?
Next up, we got a beacon,
Nice.
or how I would like to put the lighthouse light.
Lighthouse light. 'cause
Lighthouse
It's a
light.
beacon and not a lighthouse.
Yeah, no, it is actually a lighthouse.
Oh.
Basically, long story short, a young woman goes sailing. Her ship, her vessel, crashes. She is then rescued by a lighthouse keeper, and then it becomes a two-hander between this lighthouse keeper and the woman, because they're basically the only ones there.
Sure.
He says that he's called for help.
Yeah.
She obviously does not believe it because, like, you know, he's a man, she's a woman, and
He's a lighthouse operator. I get it.
You totally
Tale as
get it.
old as time.
And then things start to
She's
go.
a castaway. He's a lighthouse operator.
Shit just goes sideways. He
Star-crossed
doesn't trust.
lovers.
He doesn't trust her. She doesn't trust him, and it
Naturally.
just like goes back and forth, and it's quite thrilling.
Does anyone fuck a mermaid?
There's no mermaid fucking
I
in
don't
this
want
one. There's no shanties. They're
Any
not drinking.
conversation about lobster?
No, they're
Well,
not.
then-
There's no seagulls.
Fan
There's
of the
no
lobster.
drinking gasoline.
Then
There's
what are we talking
There's
about
no.
here?
There's no crazy Willem
Chuck
Dafoe.
it in the bin.
Is it in 4x3?
It's not
black
in
and
4 by
white?
3. But what I will say, upsides, is definitely very atmospheric. It owes a lot to the lighthouse, obviously.
Naturally.
Because
Is the
that's-
lighthouse the third character? Carry on.
It totally is.
Totally is. Totally is. I like the twist. I like the M. Night Shyamalan twist at the end.
Oh.
Yeah, there's.
There's a twist.
I don't want to. I don't want to ruin it for you. It obviously plays with your perspectives and stuff.
Sure.
From her perspective, his perspective, the lighthouse perspective. You know. But it was decent. It was decent. It wasn't the greatest. To be honest with you, I'd probably watch The Lighthouse before I watch this movie
Well,
again.
I mean, yeah.
But I will say the shout out, Damien.
Damien Bashir. Or
He was-
Damien Bashir.
He was fantastic.
Oh,
Fantastic as a lighthouse keeper for sure.
He's always fucking awesome.
Well, of course. And I'm gonna butcher her name, but I'm gonna try it out anyway. Julia Goldani Tellis.
I'll go with
Sure. I was pretty good. I was pretty good with that one. She is very good as well.
Great.
Definitely. Definitely seek this one out. If it's on, I wouldn't rush to see it or anything. Obviously, see The Lighthouse before this one. But it was good.
Is it a Shudder title?
Is it a Shudder title?
It might be. I'm
might.
not sure. I know it's Fox, but it might be a Shudder title too. I don't know. There's just something about it.
We'll definitely
cool.
keep our eyes out for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like it felt
Shuddery.
shuddery.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
definitely felt sheltery. Now that you say it.
I'll take it. I also probably will still just, once the lighthouse has achieved perfection, what more
It's quite true.
can be said at a lighthouse?
I'm still upset about that movie.
Why?
I don't know. It just
so
upsets
good,
me.
We have the 4K Happy Hand Job.
I know
Arrow
we do.
edition of
I
this
know
movie.
we do.
Good,
I
Dave.
know we do.
Next up, we got Brats.
Ooh, Brats.
This was one that me and Dave saw.
Nice.
Yes.
Dave,
Go on.
Take us down the journey of Brats.
So it is Andrew McCarthy of the Brat Pack.
I get it.
You get it, do you?
Yeah.
He's reflecting on the fallout from an article that was written in New York Magazine about that dubbed them the Brat Pack.
Right.
I actually read the article last night. I'm gonna have to look for it after when Tony starts talking. So he's kind of
Wasn't it the whole thing like they read this article, he was not happy about it, so he went to like talk to all the members of the quote unquote Brat Pack?
like basically like the Brat the writer calls them the Brat Pack, and then they're all kind of typecasted
Right.
immediately, and then some of them get out of that typecasting, and
Yeah.
then some of them don't. Andrew McCarthy is one of the ones who doesn't,
Yeah.
and he's kind of haunted by it and haunted by who he could have been as an actor had this not happened
Would
to
he
him.
not been? Yeah.
So he's going
Okay.
back and talking to the so-called Brat Pack and Brat Pack adjacent people,
Right.
because he can't get them all on
On the road trip.
he can't.
There's
He can't get them all on the horn.
Oh, okay.
Like Molly Ringwald does not want to talk about it.
yeah.
Like I think
Fair.
he does talk to her on because
Yeah.
there's like an extended bit where he's on the phone with all of them type
Yeah.
thing. And it's like, yay, we get to watch Andrew McCarthy talk on a phone and we can't hear anything.
Yeah, great.
But Molly Ringwald wants nothing to do with it.
Sure.
And Judd Nelson keeps dodging his calls type thing.
Hilarious.
There's a running gag in it. It's
Yeah.
just like he's trying to get a hold of him and he can't get a hold of him and everything like that.
Yeah.
And it's just a running joke.
Right.
I need to find the article.
Sure.
But I will find it in a sec. And so he goes back to talk to the people who will talk. So
Yeah.
Ali Sheedy,
Yeah.
Demi Moore, Emilio Estevez, Rob
Yeah.
Lowe.
Sure.
And he talks to them about like the fallout of it and how they feel now, 35, 40 years later,
Yeah.
about like the fallout from it. Because apparently like immediately after this came out, like they were all they were buddies, but they didn't hang out all the time. Like some of them hung out
Sure,
and
yeah.
stuff. But then they were in a lot of each other's movies.
Yeah.
But immediately after this article came out, they were ordered that they couldn't appear in the same movies together anymore.
Wow.
They just straight
Just
up
to
were like,
avoid
no,
the association.
gotta
Yeah.
avoid it. And some of it
Jesus.
stuck with them forever.
Yeah.
And like, you always bring it up type
Yeah.
thing. Like when you
Yeah.
think of the Breakfast Club and St. Elmo's Fire
Sure.
and that whole thing, you think of the Brat Pack.
Yeah.
That's what you think. So it was called Hollywood's Brat Pack. It's by David Bloom. It was in New York Magazine. You can get it on nymag.com.
Wow.
I literally just typed in Brat Pack article and it brought it
Yeah.
up, and it looks like you can. It didn't.
That's wild.
It didn't kick me.
though.
It didn't kick me out
Yeah.
or tell me I needed to pay for it.
But
So
it's
he
wild that
talks
just
to.
one reporter's sort of opinion ended up fucking over a whole
So
bunch
that's
of
what-
people's
that's what the
careers.
whole-
he talks to
Yeah.
And then he ends up talking to the guy at
The
some
guy,
point
yeah.
too.
Oh, that's good.
And
yeah.
he basically wants him to apologize, and he's goading him into apologizing, and he won't do it.
Yeah, because
he
there's
just
nothing
double-
for him
he
to
just doubles
apologize
down- he
for.
Well, did you read the article?
No, I haven't yet.
Okay,
but,
so I
mean,
read
just
the article
association
so-
of just like if you classify a group of people as a group, it's not necessarily something that you need to apologize for. What the industry decides to do is not really he's not Hollywood.
So
To be clear.
I didn't know where the Brat Pack moniker came from. I just
Sure.
know Brat Pack. I know who the Brat Pack
Yeah.
are. And so this talks about it.
Yeah.
And then kind of everything to do with it and
Yeah.
like how they feel, whatever. But I read the article immediately afterwards.
Yeah.
And this article is not nice.
Okay.
It is mean.
Sure.
It's very mean spirited, and it only has one line about Andrew McCarthy. So I think that's fucking hilarious.
That's so funny. Wow.
And it's
Wow.
like it's mostly him following Emilio Estevez, Rob Lowe, and
That makes sense.
Judd Nelson as they're cruising for hookups.
Yeah.
Sure.
Type thing.
He just hangs out with them.
He
one
just
night
hangs
at
out
the-
with
at
them. Yeah.
like a party or something.
a couple of nights
Yeah.
type
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And like Emilio is hooking up with a playmate of the year.
Nice.
And David Bloom only calls her the playmate. He doesn't refer to her by name, just calls
Wonderful.
her the playmate.
The playmate.
So anyways, it's not a nice article. It doesn't paint them in the best of light. So I understand
Sure.
why like Judd Nelson was furious about it, why Emilio Estevez was pissed about it. But the fact that it kind of like became a catch-all term for an entire group
yeah.
of young actors is really shitty.
Yeah, of course.
And it's all about, and the article's only about men
Right.
versus
the entire
like,
thing.
the
Yeah.
entire thing. Like you would still think of Demi Moore and Ali
Yeah.
Sheedy and Molly Ringwald.
Yeah,
like
as part of
I
they're
think
part
of Molly
it, yeah.
Ringwald as like the ringleader type thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's just because Ring is in her name.
Mostly. So it's fun. I don't know how I feel about the doc. Like I was interested, I was entertained, but at the end of the day, it just felt like a long therapy session, and also felt like they were just like, "Yo, dude, just get over it." And he's talking to the writer, and he basically tells him full blank, "I'm not talking about you in this article.
Yeah.
When I'm talking about the Brat Pack, or when I'm determining the Brat Pack, you're not in it."
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's kind of getting back to
Right.
like not even knowing the content of the article. And now I understand a bit of it. Like it's still not like, I don't know, to demand an apology from someone scathing or otherwise, like because it was a bad article, whatever, or because it was, like painting a few people in a bad light, or, for the time that it was written, in not, being very male centric and not focusing on anything else. It's also not his fault that it became a catch-all term for
Yes.
everyone. It's
That's
also
what he's
not
kind
his fault that like Hollywood decided that became a bad thing and they needed to disassociate all of them. It's not his fault that Andrew McCarthy had a shit career because of it. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can't.
So that's
to have
also what the doc is kind of about, because he's talking to different people and they're like, it's not a bad thing. Like you
Yeah.
looked at it wrong. You looked at it like this, but this is how other people looked at it.
Yeah.
And that's what he kind of gets at when he
Yeah.
talks to him,
Yeah.
is that like, it's not my fault.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just needed a name, and then that's what he
Like,
came
they
up
just
with.
pin it on him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he doubled down again, because he wrote another article recently where he basically says, I have no qualms with this. I wrote it.
Yeah.
I stand by it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he was at Tribeca at a Q&A, and he did it again. And
Yeah.
and everybody on the panel is like just looking at him, just
Yeah.
like, you're still doing this with all of us here.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing, dude?
Yeah,
He's just a pretend.
Yeah,
It's also because he's a pretentious windbag.
100%. And like, you know, the fact that it's still going is just like, okay, now you're the one kind of bringing this up. Like you can just, we can all just move on and let it go. But also to agree to be a part of that Q&A, that's fucked.
Yeah,
maybe don't do that. Like maybe don't give yourself yet another platform to be like, I don't give a fuck, man. Like it's cool. We got it the first time. That's a little scummy.
Yeah. So it's fine.
It just seemed like instead of going to therapy, he made a documentary about it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And like he's still whining about it type thing, but like the other guys are just like they're either over it or they just don't care now.
Yeah.
Or they're like, why are you still on about this?
Yeah.
So it's interesting watching them kind of dissect it.
Yep.
But it's also like we're also watching the life and times of fabulous Hollywood stars of yesteryear.
Yeah.
Just talking about their legacy, basically, because it was interesting to hear about like the legacy of the Brat Pack. Because like, you know, if you were into those movies, it's nice. Yeah. Right. But like,
I mean, like, I don't know how any of them are really doing, but I feel like they're not doing terribly.
Well, Demi Moore might get an Oscar nomination next year.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Emilio Estevez is doing fine for himself. Ali
notwithstanding, I meant
like
the
Andrew
other
McCarthy,
ones.
notwithstanding.
Yeah.
Like
Rob Lowe's could do an all right for himself.
Rob Lowe's fine.
I think the one who's the most pissed off is Judd Nelson.
Yeah.
Because he sounds like a douchebag in the article and then he doesn't talk on the thing. So it's basically like, and they make a joke at the Q&A that like Judd Nelson's in like the wings waiting to like assassinate the guy.
Oh my God.
Lord.
Oof.
But yeah, so when they're talking to different critics and different writers about it, it gets more interesting. I found that more interesting than listening to him kind of
life and times of
go on and on about how it affected him.
Yeah.
And how he did this instead of going to therapy.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yeah.
Recommend?
Don't rush to see it.
Right.
I know it's on Hulu in the States. I don't know if it's up here yet, but
so it should make its way up here.
It should make its way up here at some point.
Laundry?
Yes, a folding laundry
kind of movie.
Especially if you liked those movies.
Yeah.
Like there's an entire I can't imagine all of Gen Z has watched those movies or
maybe
feel
not,
anything about it. But
for the rest of us
in our 30s and like
up.
Gen X and millennials probably will get some enjoyment out of it because chances are you watch those movies as a kid or as a teenager and you saw something in them.
I'm still watching them.
But at the same time, it also has a lot to do with John Hughes.
Right.
Which is also mentioned here.
Yeah.
Kind of vaguely, like they keep bringing him up type thing, but it's like most of it belongs to John Hughes, not to them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting. It's frustrating. It's a folding laundry movie.
Cool.
It's a good time.
All right. For folding laundry.
Also, I really want to fucking watch St. Elmo's Fire right now.
Oh man,
I've never seen St. Elmo's Fire.
It's a banger.
Same.
It's a banger.
I know
you were St. Elmo's Fire.
You love that movie.
It's not The Breakfast Club, but it's a banger.
Yeah.
You should watch St. Elmo's Fire.
Let's fucking do it.
All right.
Next up, let's go a little trippy. This one I watched. It's called Boys Go to Jupiter.
Oh,
this one is an animated movie.
Did they go to Jupiter?
They definitely do not go to Jupiter, but
Damn
I
it.
will just tell you right now, I was not on enough drugs for this movie. No.
What was the animation style?
Animation style is like a 3D, like almost like a Minecraft.
Oh,
almost kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not exactly Minecraft, but like that kind of 3D shading kind of thing. Basically, the storyline is a teenager in suburban Florida desperately hustles to make $5,000 in this dreamy, surreal, animated coming to age story.
Oh.
Basically, this guy's just trying to make money.
Cool.
It is like a day in the life, like just seeing who this kid like interacts with. And like the kind of shenanigans that he gets into. It was all right. I didn't really feel a lot about it. If I was significantly more high, maybe
you might have. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It definitely goes to some weird places and it like kind of like takes a turn.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't seek this one out.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I'm looking at the thing and like Sarah Sherman, Joe Pera, Elsie Fisher, Janine Garofalo.
There's definitely a nice all-star cast. but it's
I don't know if I
it's
say all star, like
Oh, star.
star
like you
cast.
know these people.
You know
Yeah.
these people. But yeah, it's trippy.
Yeah.
It's definitely trippy.
All right. Just didn't amount to much.
Didn't amount to much, no.
All
no.
right. I'll take it.
And next up, we got Hacking Hate.
Ooh.
This won the best documentary feature award.
It sure did. So a quick, you want me to take on the summary for you, bud?
Yes, please.
All right. So it is a documentary following award-winning Swedish journalist Mai Wingren as she goes through sort of an undercover operation to piece together a white supremacist network of neo-Nazis and far-right organizations. I think is about it. That sort of sums it up. I liked parts of this documentary. I think hacking is a little bit grandiose for a title.
Yes.
Because it's not a lot of hacking so much as it is just catfishing.
Catfishing and spoofing.
And an occasional spoofing, but really it's mainly just catfishing that she's able to kind of weasel her way in. Not to say that she doesn't do a lot of work to land that catfishing, because like she created an entire family of people in order to just gain entry.
And she also like used AI on herself to make the pictures. That's fucked up.
Yeah. No, like not
She's
not
a badass.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. Not for nothing for the amount of effort that she put in order to make her catfished accounts feel believable, in order to literally reel these guys in, which she did very well, and I think it works. But
the real life girl with the dragon tattoo, as the media has deemed her.
Yeah, which
and I love how they literally like say it like right off the bat. They literally set the tone to this documentary immediately.
Yeah, and it was just like, but no, like you're selling something that is not happening on screen. Anybody who knows half a thing or has literally watched The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo can go, no, you're just they made an entire MTV series about catfishing. We understand.
I think it's just
not that hard.
I think it's literally just because she's a Swedish journalist who does undercover work.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's literally
the only comparison.
That's the comparison.
Good for her. Yeah.
That is the comparison.
Yeah, that's it. That's the
and
only
she doesn't
in.
and she's not gorgeous.
Sure.
That would be it, because the girl with the dragon tattoo is like a.
Hey, I want a girl with a dragon tattoo.
I do too, but she isn't she isn't conventionally gorgeous Swedish supermodel.
Sure,
That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yes.
Yeah. So the documentary, I think, does a pretty good job of uncovering the network, and it's interesting to see sort of where that web leads. I found it focuses too hard on when she finds sort of like that main guy. I think it almost forgets about what else it's trying to do, and it's just solely focused on uncovering that one guy's life, which doesn't really amount to much by the end.
Yeah,
you're just kind of like, yeah, okay, so like, what's the end goal here? Like, where are we going with this? And like, yeah, then it kind of just like, I don't know, the way that the documentary is framed, and she does a good job with some of the interviews that she's able to get as well. You know, she's talking to the former content moderator of X, formerly known as Twitter.
Annika Collier Navaroli.
Yes. And I found those conversations very fascinating and insightful.
She also talks to Imran Ahmed, who was in what one or two movies we saw at Hot Dogs.
Yeah. So there was I found those a little bit more compelling than her. In the beginning, I was kind of into her undercover work because she was uncovering the network, because she like got into the Telegram groups, and then she was like mapping out who all these users were and how they were all connected, and then from one Telegram group to another Telegram group, and when the group fractured and splintered. But that's where I think then it pivoted to that full focus on the one
main gentleman
guy, and I was like,
but that's what the article, because it's also centered around her writing an article,
correct?
Right? And the article comes out and it's about him.
Yeah. To which I don't know. Maybe the article, and I haven't read the article, and maybe I should, but it just I find that it's trying to do almost a little bit too much. Like it's doing a lot to uncover the network, but then it focuses so much on main guy that ends up being the centerpiece of the article. But in in kind of doing that and talking to all these other people, there's not enough information really about it. And it's like, sure, I can go read the article afterwards, but like, what is the point? What am I watching this documentary for? Just her process of uncovering it? I guess
as like a companion piece to the article, because she doesn't like, she's supposed to be an award-winning journalist, and I don't really know anything about her actual like her writing, her rhetoric. I know she's great at undercover work, but I don't know anything about her rhetoric. And I don't know, maybe I just fell asleep for a sec. She has a baby, and they don't even mention that until like the last 30 seconds of the movie.
It's an indeterminate amount of time that passes in this movie. It does happen, and it threw me off too. I was like, oh, I guess she had a kid. Okay,
because it doesn't really talk about who she is as a person.
It's
and
all
like
focused on
her work. But then suddenly at the end, she's like, "Yeah, I've got death threats, and I'm my family." And then it shows a baby, and I was like, why didn't we have more on this? Where the fuck was all this?
And
why are you just following this up as a footnote?
Her and the other woman there were swapping notes about death threats and like protection details and this, and I was like, but you have a. Wait, what?
Yeah.
Like that was the moment that they chose to get like personal. And I was like, but it's far too late in the game for that.
Way too late.
And I have no idea how much time has really passed in this documentary.
Yeah, that was kind of confusing.
Like you kind of get pieces of it. It's like, oh, he dropped off the map and then he pops up again on the map. Also, raising my hand. What the fuck happened to that cat?
Yeah.
They never answer the question about the cat. I have questions about the cat.
Yes, I also have questions about the cat.
Because he took the cat and then he came back and then he disappeared, but we never... Is the cat okay? I just want to know about the cat.
We are a pro-cat podcast, so I understand where you're coming from. I like the content, and I think there's a lot of it. I think it's a very dense documentary, but it needed to focus. It doesn't have enough focus.
Yeah, it's throwing a lot at you for sure.
Like it doesn't have like a central thesis message other than neo-Nazis bad.
Yeah, which yes, agree. But then to what end?
And I think I would have liked to follow more with Annika.
Yeah.
Where she's talking about how she was the whistleblower on X and how she's like, something bad's going to happen. And then something bad happened. Yeah. And then she's at Twitch and she's like, something bad's going to happen. And then it did. I want to follow that.
Yeah.
That seems more interesting
and the aggravation of like, I don't know, probably all white boards of directors at these fucking companies going, nah, you're just paranoid. And then bad shit happens. She's like, what?
You're just some black lesbian. Shut your mouth.
Yeah. Like, could you just hire this woman?
That's basically what they tell her.
No, I know.
Put her as chief content officer, please, for the love of God. She seems to have like Nostradamus levels of prediction powers. Like,
yeah. I wanted more with her. I would have liked it. I think I would have liked it more if it was based if I had a whole documentary about her.
Yeah.
And what she uncovered and what happened. Type thing.
Yeah.
Because they were showing like the actual videos that these fucking psychos actually shot.
Yeah.
And like I was like,
eek.
I haven't seen this stuff, and I know they're not going to show the whole thing, but I was interested in that.
Yeah. You sick fuck.
But I was interested.
I'm kidding.
I was interested in the. I'm trying to think of how to phrase it. I'm interested in how they went about putting it up on Twitch and how
I get it.
What the reactions
and what happened, how long it took,
how
like
long
the
it took to come
timelines.
down,
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
How people were reacting. That's what
probably poorly.
Yes, that's what I wanted to hear more of. I'm sure I could read up on it if I really want to. Yeah. It just kind of like I was more invested in everything she was saying than I was in everything else.
Yeah.
And Imran has great things to say, but we've seen him multiple times this year already.
Yeah. So
very odd.
I don't know.
Apparently, he's just the guy you go to. Yeah. You go to for hate speech online. He's the guy.
He's the expert.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it was just fine.
Yeah, I would say it was just fine.
No rushing out to see it. It was fine.
I wouldn't either.
Yeah. Cool.
Tony.
All right. Next up, we got. Let's do The Weeknd.
Sure.
Oof.
Yes,
All
this
right,
is
talk to me.
the Nigerian horror movie.
Yeah.
Best way to describe it, it is Ready or Not meets Get Out.
Interesting.
I think that does a disservice to it.
I do think it does a
quite
disservice.
that.
But it is, I would say it's more Get Out than it is Ready or Not.
Even then, I just don't like.
You don't like the
comparison?
comparison.
I don't like the comparison. A young woman and her fiance. She doesn't have family. He has a family, but he's not
close with them.
He's not close with them.
Okay.
And she's like pushing him. She's like, we really need to go see them type thing. Like,
Yeah.
I want to have a big family. Like, this is like, I don't have a family. I want to learn your family.
Yeah.
Like, learn about you. So he finally gives in, relents, because it's like their anniversary party or something.
Sure.
On the weekend, the titular weekend.
Got it.
So they go there. It's like
To Nigeria?
no, they're in, I think they're in Nigeria. They go to like a village.
Oh, okay.
Like a village there. And it's just weird. Like the vibes are weird.
Right.
Very unsettling.
The vibes are weird. It's unsettling. Something's off about everything. And then you gradually find out why everything feels off.
Oh.
And the Get Out part is just basically just like, something weird's going on with the parents. You need to leave. That's literally it. It's not.
We need to get the fuck out.
Oh, got it.
That's all
That's
the
it?
Get
Yeah.
Out comes
Yeah, okay.
from, which dumbs down what Get Out's about.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All of that to say, it's more psychological thriller, horror. There's a man of substance. And if there's just a guy who keeps saying he's a man of substance, I just want to punch him in the dick
amazing.
every time.
Amazing.
Literally, I was just like, I was texting Dave when I was watching. I was like, this man needs to be castrated and then decapitated and then set on fire.
Yeah.
If he
But
says
he's
a
of
man,
substance.
that's what I was gonna say. He's a man of substance.
He is a man of
He's a
substance.
man of substance.
He was very, very good.
Huh.
He was good at being
He's
the
a
dick.
Yeah,
he was
like,
good at being the dick.
He was like he was such an asshole, but he was so good at playing the asshole.
Oh.
And Dave was talking about how unsettling it was and everything, and it just like it keeps like twisting and twisting, and then just like the buildup is so incredible.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this film for sure.
So his name was Zato, and he was played by James Timothy Gardner, this is the names of the cast, and his is like the most white sounding
yeah.
name.
Yeah.
Man.
So I wanted a little bit more from it when it was kind of wrapping up. It kind of like when it all slams together, I kind of wanted it to kind of breathe a bit more.
Okay, that's
And
fair.
it didn't help that the copy we had, the audio and the editing was off a bit.
Oh.
Okay.
So I don't think it was like I want to give it credit and say that it might not be the final cut, that they might just need to fine tune some of it.
Right.
Because there was parts of it that just felt off.
Yeah.
Right.
But when shit goes south, it goes fucking south.
Like it goes balls to the wall. I was texting Dave when I was watching it, and I was just like, man, like there better be something at the end of this.
Yeah,
all this buildup, like it better be
Yeah,
and fuck, man,
It pays off.
it goes places.
Shit. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to see this one, I think.
So I'm not gonna try to pronounce her name. I'll try to pronounce her first name as Uzo Amaka.
Okay.
She
plays
played
the fiance.
Nikia.
Yeah.
She is very, very good in this.
Yes.
She's compelling, and you kind of you're basically experience it through her.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's her
And
way in.
She's
yeah.
your way in, and
for
you're
sure.
kind of following her as like shit's kind of
Shit's
coming
going
apart.
south. Yeah.
And like she doesn't see it all happening, but like
Oh,
you
shit.
see it all
Yeah.
happening, and you're
Yeah.
just like, oh.
All right.
There's
Oh.
something. There's something off about the guy's parents.
Yeah. I
And
like
there's
this.
some great camera work in it. There's the one bit where they're basically just weaving through the party,
Yeah.
and like
Huh.
people keep coming in and out of the frame, and I thought that was really well done. And yeah, I thought it was intense.
Yeah.
I just
really
think it was
enjoyed
intense.
Really
I just kind of wanted it to kind of like be a little cleaner at the end.
Right.
Yeah.
Neat.
That would probably be the only criticism, I would say. But
All
I
right.
really enjoyed it, and it delivered everything that I wanted.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Cool.
the director Daniel Oriahai.
Oria High.
He is He's one to watch out for. I have a feeling this is the kind of movie that's kind of like that underground thing that starts like making its rounds at festivals,
Right.
or it gets picked up by Netflix type thing, and then
Sure.
he gets to be like the next Marvel director.
Oh,
type thing.
okay.
That's the kind of
Nice.
the kind of
Yeah.
movie this is that it's
the-
the gateway movie for
It's the
this
gateway.
guy
Yeah.
or for the entire cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the
'Cause the entire-
Nomadland for what Nomadland was for Chloe Zhao.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Well, Chloe Zhao was already up and coming at No Man's Land part, but
No, but
Yes,
this
you're
cast
right.
is fantastic.
Yeah.
Everyone was
and
great.
they're all very like, at least according to Letterboxd, they don't have many credits.
Cool.
So
I want to check this one out.
Definitely seek
it's
this one out.
definitely one to seek out. I have
Yeah.
a feeling it's going to show up at other festivals
Sweet.
yeah.
because
I wouldn't doubt
it is a festival movie, and I imagine it would be a good one to watch with a crowd.
Nice.
Yeah.
But I definitely think it's a gateway movie, and that this director and this cast is going to
Go places.
go places.
I love it. I love that.
Next up,
Next up, we got Come Closer,
Go on.
which is a coming to age movie from Israel.
Oh,
and
it's
it,
two coming of age movies.
it won the
Yeah.
Viewpoints Award. I
So
guess
neat.
for its category, it was in the Viewpoints category, so it won the award for that.
Huh.
I think coming of age is going to be a key recurring theme.
recurring
Oh, okay. Got it.
Basically, this is the story of Eden. Her brother dies unexpectedly,
Oh,
and through her grief and her trauma of
Mhm.
losing him, she strikes up a relationship with his girlfriend, and
Oh.
she finds out that her brother wasn't the guy that she thought he was.
oh.
Because she's really close with the brother, and then she's uncovering things that she didn't quite know.
Oh,
Because like
interesting.
she's getting pieces, but then the girlfriend is also telling her
Yeah, the
what he
rest
was
of-
like
yeah.
when he was with her.
Right? And they didn't know he had a girlfriend.
Yeah,
Oh,
mystery
Yes.
girlfriend.
So it's a lot
Interesting.
it's about grief, and it's about family relationships and secrecy, and kind of the person you are with one person
is not
who you are with someone
others,
else. Type
yeah.
thing.
It was a personal story, and it was deep, and it was like very like you're on this journey with this woman or kid, actually. She's a teenager.
She's not a teenager.
20. She was 19, 20, right?
She was definitely. There's the point when she brings the girlfriend to the bar, and they refer to her as a minor, and she's
Hmm.
definitly like 18, so
She's
she must be in
like-
like her early 20s.
Yeah. Okay. So early
Okay.
early 20s. She's still a child. She's still a kid.
Yeah.
And she's fucked up because her
And
brother's
she's
dead.
fucked up.
Yeah,
because,
sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Music was great. I really liked the cinematography in this. They really play with like the neon lights,
Nice.
and it's like very haunting and very dreamy, like that kind of thing.
Nice.
Because like grief is no easy thing, right?
True.
I
And she's
thought-
not a likable character.
and she's not. She's a real, and you really see her come apart, right? Because you think that she has this relationship with her brother, and everything's all fine and dandy. But her brother actually had a different
Yeah.
thought about her,
Yeah.
and just her coming to the realization of all this
Yeah,
stuff. It's a tough watch for sure. But I really enjoyed this one.
Nice.
I thought she was very good.
Yeah. I'm trying to get her name.
Is it Leah
Yeah.
Loof?
Yes,
She's very good.
she's
Nice.
very, very good.
And who's the girlfriend? Is it Daria Rosen?
Yeah.
She's also very, very good.
And the chemistry between the two characters, very, very amazing.
Oh, awesome.
Because a lot of it's a two-hander.
It's a two-hander between them.
A lot
sure,
of it's
yeah.
a two-hander, but then it's also about like her family life too.
Right. Yeah.
And
of
like the
course.
friends, and you get like the friends dynamic too, and like it's just very like you're in it. You're in this
Yeah.
person's life, and you're through
It's
this
very,
journey.
it's very raw and intimate. That's what I would, which seems to be a
Interesting.
theme for Tony at this festival. Is
Raw and intimate?
is raw intimacy.
I wanted to look for other words because I wanted
Yeah.
to raw and intimate is going to be what I describe the next one.
But yeah, it's a tough watch, but it's well done. It's a well-made film and a well-acted film.
Nice.
But it's a tough watch, and yeah, she does very well for a character you can't really get behind, that you don't really like, but you also feel for her because
Yeah,
she's going
yeah.
through some shit.
Yeah. Cool.
And then
So-
yeah,
and it's LGBTQ positive,
Nice.
yeah,
which is great during Pride Month.
Yeah, absolutely.
What did you think of the twist? Did you think it was going to go like dark, or were you glad that it like kind of like there's a moment in it where I'm just like, holy shit, did they just do that? Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And then like it turns unexpectedly.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like for a second you're just like, oh
no.
fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a couple of bits like that where you're like, oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Heart just suddenly just comes up into your throat and you're like, oh shit, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
well done movie.
Nice.
Loved it. Well, raw and intimate. We're just
on.
gonna roll into
Yeah.
our next one called Group Therapy.
Sure.
This one is a documentary about 6 comedians, kind of in a group therapy session talking about grief,
Okay.
and it's moderated by Neil Patrick Harris.
Yes.
It's not just about grief. It's about mental illness.
Yes.
Mental illness, and also about survival and just like their experiences. Because Tig Notaro's there, so she's talking about the cancer.
Sure.
And then Mike Birbiglia, Nicole Byer, Gary Gulman, London Hughes, and Atsuko
Atsuko's in it.
Okatsuka. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Asuka's
Atsuko's
one
in
of the
Nice.
one of the best parts in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't
She's
use her
great.
enough.
And
They
that
don't
was
use her
the only
enough.
problem.
So they just kind of talk about their experiences in their life and kind of
How they relate it
sure.
to like their comedy.
Sure.
their comedy. Because
Yeah.
Gary is like suicidal and
Yeah.
he's all fucked up type thing. But he's like, I make all these funny things, but like on the inside, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
So, but I think it also hinges on your knowledge of these comedians.
Yes.
So I didn't know Atsuko at all. So I was very confused. Like, you're just like, well, why the fuck did they pick these guys?
Right.
Right? Like Tig Notaro. I'm like, okay, I know Tig Notaro. I know Mike Birbiglia type thing. Gary seemed very familiar, but like all the women, I had no idea who any of them were.
Yeah.
So I thought it was an interesting premise.
Yeah.
And I liked how they didn't shy away from talking about their experiences. And like it's just, some of it's just fucking harrowing listening to them talk. Cause like Tig's talking about, oh my God, she's talking about the movie they made about her. She was in a doc a few years ago and
Talking about the pregnancy.
And she's trying to get pregnant. Then she finds out she can't get pregnant.
Right.
But
But
she's on the phone with the doctor and they're filming her because they want it for the doc. So she's talking about her experience in filming that. And how she was like, well, like
yeah, this
This
absolutely devastating
this
moment.
devastating
She's
moment.
finding out this moment while still trying to. So she's trying to process the information, but at the same time have a face for the documentary.
Yeah.
And like just going through the process and that. And
so she's articulating that.
Yeah.
And it's so emotionally devastating.
Yeah.
I really liked this doc. I hung on to everybody's story because everyone is getting very personal. They're getting very deep, and it's very harrowing because like you see these people. You see what was the guy?
Gary.
You said Gary, and you see him breaking down, but then you see the way they cut it. You see him explaining what he's going through and all this stuff, and then you see him cracking jokes on stage, and like just getting that comparison. It's just like, oh, what these comedians go through, right?
Yeah.
Because some of this stuff that's happening to them, it's very traumatic, and they're using it for their material to make people laugh, and it's fuck, man. It hits you. It hits you very hard. It's heavy. Yeah. It's a heavy watch, man. I definitely was on an emotional roller coaster during this.
Wow.
But I loved it. And the other woman, was it Nicole?
Nicole was
No.
she was American.
No, not Nicole.
London was from London.
Was London the one where she was explaining when she was scattering her mother's ashes?
Maybe.
There was a story. I don't want to quote it whoever it was, because I don't want to get it wrong. But there was a story one of the comedians brought up where their mother had passed away and that they were scattering the ashes. When they were scattering the ashes, the gust of wind blew and part of them came.
Right.
And they're making a joke.
Yeah.
She's you can tell that she's grieving on the situation, but she's trying to make light of it because everyone started laughing.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like those like sweet, those tender moments that really make this doc, because like these are deep personal stories, right? And like you would think that's a traumatic event, but they're making humor out of it, and it's like the bleakness, the darkness, that death can be funny, but it can also be like it's hard.
Sure.
And you can't really, and even hearing me talk about it, you see I can't even articulate what I want to say, and it's kind of like how they are, because they don't know what to say. They're just making they're just doing them.
Sure.
So they all came for Q&A except for Nicole. They were all at the premiere Q&A.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which would have been cool.
That definitely would have been cool for sure. And
what the fuck was Neil Patrick
that's
Harris
what I wanted
doing
to know. Right?
I'm not sure.
Why? Right?
They picked someone to moderate, it sounds like.
But even Neil Patrick Harris has some good moments too, right? Like it was like they were all there to support each other, and I really liked that they all were coming to tell their story and just help each other out, because some people talked to they spoke to each other's experiences and stuff. And Tig's stories were very, very heavy as well.
Sure.
But Tig already had a documentary, so I already knew all.
But I didn't know any of this, right?
So I think it would have helped if I knew more of their comedy.
Mm-hmm.
I think would have been more of a, if you know all of these comedians, like you'll hang on it all, or you'll be like Tony, who just hangs on it because he's just a big softie. But I feel like I would have been more emotionally invested if I knew them all.
Right.
And it's produced by Kevin Hart.
Nice.
Which I thought was a very interesting thing, but it's like, why the fuck isn't Kevin Hart up there?
That's what I wanted to know.
Because he seems like, if he's producing and he was up there, I feel like that would be an even bigger hook for this movie.
Yeah,
possibly. But maybe you just didn't want to, or maybe there wasn't. I don't know. Like,
no, obviously
not good at moderating. I don't know.
No, obviously there's a reason for it. It's just kind of like when you see his name in the credits, you're like, why aren't you in front?
Sure.
Like you would, like this movie would have sold to Netflix or sold to somebody immediately if he's sitting in the front.
Yeah.
If he's moderating it, or if he's one of the people talking.
Yeah.
And I think more people would. I think that this is a hard watch.
Yeah.
And maybe even harder than the last one we just spoke about.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's so like the other one was raw and real type thing, but like this is even more real because this isn't a story. These are real people talking about their real lives, and they're people you see on camera all the time.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a hard watch, and I feel like a lot of people aren't going to love it or want to sit through this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Unless they're masochists like Tony.
I like hearing people share their truth, and I like people being real and not fake. Just like telling it like it is, not sparing any punches, just real, raw, like right to the point.
Sure.
Because it does get bleak quite quickly.
Well, yeah. I know a few of them. I know why. I get it. But also you should watch Atsuko's special.
Yes,
she's great.
I have gotten that. I liked her the most. Like Tony said, like she has the best
great.
stuff.
I saw her in Toronto last year.
She has the best stuff, but they don't use her enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Because unfortunately, she doesn't have the most fucked up stuff going on.
No, but she still had a fucked up life.
No, I mean, but in terms of what they're talking about,
degrees,
what they're talking about in the documentary, it's not as fucked as some of the other people.
Yeah, for sure.
So they don't use her enough. But yes, I do want to watch her special because they show
clips.
On
HBO.
They show clips of it, and it's very funny.
Yeah.
Mr. Tony.
Next up, we have a documentary about the NBA.
Oh.
So you guys know film Twitter, obviously.
Yeah.
But do you know NBA Twitter?
No.
Good, because I didn't either.
Oh, okay.
Dun, dun, dun.
Basically, this is about
what's the film called?
The film is I didn't actually say what the film is called. No. The film is called Memes and Nightmares.
Oh, okay.
It is about NBA Twitter and the NBA Twitter king Josiah Johnson.
Okay.
Basically, a very popular meme goes missing from NBA Twitter. It is the J.R. Smith squint. Explain it to you guys. You're not going to know what it is, so you guys are going to have to look that one up.
Okay.
That goes missing, and they basically just set off to find out who took the meme.
How does a meme go
I'm
missing?
sorry. What?
Basically, they wiped it from Twitter. Like this meme. Like you can't search it. You can't find it. It's literally wiped from the face of Twitter.
Okay, but it exists elsewhere?
No, it's gone.
You can't find it on the internet anywhere.
Well, you
This
couldn't.
thing?
Yeah, it's this one. That one.
Okay. Okay,
Dude,
so Dave found it in about 38
Well, it
seconds.
went missing, and then they just basically.
Was this documentary a minute and a half long?
It was actually 81 minutes.
How the fuck?
Here, let me say.
Was it just uncovering why it was deleted from Twitter?
Basically, they wanted to find out who took it. And it's
What
just like
took-
it's like
oh,
a
who
mystery.
took the photo?
Who took the photo off?
Oh,
It's back,
no,
and
who
obviously
took the photo off.
Okay. How did it disappear? They just basically it's like a
Okay.
mystery of like following the pieces.
Sure.
Yeah, dude. What your reaction is how my reaction was to this movie.
I'm failing to see why I should give a shit.
Executive produced by LeBron James and Maverick Carter, this extraordinary tale pushes comedic sensibilities into an unexpected territory of as cultural references and fandom collide. Josiah Johnson leads an odyssey across the country to explore
across the country.
yes ephemeral media and larger than life characters, but also to investigate the dynamics of what these elements mean for our relationships to each other in the digital age. A very Gen Z documentary about NBA Twitter and what NBA Twitter means to people.
No.
Yeah. Straight up. I was watching this movie and I was like, what the fuck am I watching? I am definitely not the target audience for this.
LeBron just throwing his money at anything, eh?
It was NBA, so it was NBA related. So LeBron was just
didn't
like,
even
here,
read
just
what it
take
was
it.
about. He's just like, wait, here's $2,000.
It's not good.
It doesn't sound good.
It's not good. There's some good bits in it. Some NBA humor, stuff that I barely know. So even explaining it to you guys aren't gonna know what I'm talking about. So just take my word for it, please, for the love of God.
I will.
Tell me more.
The reason why I watched it,
You saw LeBron.
I saw LeBron. It was about NBA. It was about NBA. It was about Twitter. I thought it was gonna be a little bit, but dude, it's literally like it's like Lebowski, basically. It's just this bunch of random occurrences and this people meeting this guy, while this mystery is going on, and you're supposed to like tie up the pieces because they do like a fucking like they piece everything together.
Sure.
Kind of like a usual suspect style of everybody putting the pieces together to find out who this person was that took this fucking meme. Was it Kaiser Sosa?
Did he get his name off the bottom of a mug?
It was definitely Kaiser Sosa. But yeah, if you're into NBA, if you're into the whole like Twitter drama of what NBA Twitter is, seek it out. But if you're like me, who's just like on the outside looking in, you don't need to see it.
I need to ask a question. So Dave found this squinty picture in like 38 seconds flat. I want to know.
Back, obviously.
That's ridiculous. Once something's up on the internet, it's never gone. You can't ever. Anyway, okay. So, I need to know, and if people who are listening to this really want to see this documentary, I advise you to tune out now because I really want. What the fuck was the conclusion to this? Like, did they find the analytics guy at Twitter who fucking deleted it? Like, was it a content moderation thing? Was it Mr. fucking Squinty himself that was like, I don't like that photo of me?
I'm not going to ruin the movie.
Oh, for fuck's sakes.
But there's also like a subplot of like this very popular.
There's a subplot? This 81-minute movie about a meme done for a subplot.
this analyst that's on Twitter that announces that he's leaving Twitter, and it's like it causes like an uproar. So then he goes over and he tries to tell him he's the one that like, and he enlists to help him find the meme.
I'm done.
Apparently, you can make a documentary about anything.
Yeah, people just out there doing whatever the fuck they want.
That's how I felt.
I watched a documentary about the frog meme. Is that what it is? Is it frog?
Feels good, man.
Yeah, Feels Good Man. Yeah.
Yeah. What the fuck's that frog's name? It has a name, but anyway, yeah.
I watched the whole documentary about that and how
Pepe. Yeah.
Yeah, Pepe, and how he kind of the guy
was
who
co-opted. Yeah,
the guy who made him,
Yeah.
how he
feels about his co-opted meme.
how it started, and then how it got co-opted to be
some far right-wing shit. Yeah.
Honestly, I wanted to bring this documentary up with you guys because I just wanted to see the looks on your faces.
I hope we didn't disappoint.
James is upset.
I'll never get those 3 minutes back.
We are going to close it out with a comedy.
Sure.
I want to know what Dave feels about this movie. The last one we're talking about is Griffin in Summer.
This one was the biggie. This won Best U.S. Narrative, won Best Screenplay in U.S. Narrative, and it got a special mention for New Narrative Director.
Cool. That's a lot of.
So this one was a big deal. This one, well, it's a coming of age story about 14-year-old Griffin Naffley, who he's a playwright or a budding playwright, and he's trying to mount his play for the summer, and he's also hitting puberty like a stack of bricks.
Sure.
And kind of learning more about himself because he kind of becomes attracted to the handyman. And he kind of like gets sucked into his world type thing. And this guy's just a fuck up.
Oh,
he's just a fuck up, but he loves him.
Sure.
He finds love in him, and it's kind of like turning him against his friends and just like turning him against his family and just like him kind of discovering who he is.
So
and who his friends are.
Call me by your name, but for the working class Joe, like
I guess not really. Like let's
pump the brakes.
Let's pump the brakes on that.
This is a coming to age movie about a 14-year-old boy. Okay.
Fair.
It feels very personal. It feels like it must be partially semi-autobiographical.
It has to be.
It has to be.
Some of the dialogue is like fucking sharp, and it's like, what the hell just came out of this boy's mouth?
Yeah, there's a real poignancy to it, but it also speaks like this is the director, Nicholas Collier. I believe he wrote it as well. He wrote it. It feels like it's him kind of reflecting on a moment in his life,
right? And
he's using some of the words that he would use now to describe it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's poignant and it's funny, and I enjoyed it for the most part.
I liked it.
I enjoyed it for the most part. I thought the kid, Everett Blunk, he steals the show.
Right. Literally circles around absolutely everybody.
He's so good in it. The handyman is Owen Teague.
He was really good.
He was very well. He does very well for himself. His mother's played by Melanie Linsky.
Nice.
One of his friends is Abby Ryder Fortson, who is in Christ, what was she in, Tony, that I really like?
Oh, are you there? Got it. It's me, Margaret.
Yeah, she's Margaret.
Oh, got it.
And then
the titular Margaret.
And then it's funny that you say she was an Ant-Man because she was his daughter in Ant-Man, right?
Right.
And Catherine Newton is also in this movie, and she is also his daughter
in Ant-Man.
So that's kind of interesting.
Paul Rudd, ageless daughters, swap them out.
So I wanted more Catherine Newton just because I love Catherine Newton.
Yeah, we know.
She was herself in this movie.
Sure. I've come to only expect one thing from Catherine Newton, and it is literally just Catherine Newton. I don't know that she knows how to play anything else.
She has an accent in this.
Ooh, range.
You're being a dick.
She's great, James.
She's very good. I wanted more of her, but it centers around Everett, and I think he does very well for himself. And I think it is a very it is like your cookie cutter indie, like coming of age, gay or queer queer coming of age film
Sure.
type thing. Like it is a cookie cutter thing, but it's also like the poignancy and the realism and just like what the writer director brings to this just like kind of elevates it a bit.
Oh, okay.
So it's not just, so yeah, we're describing it. And if I was to lay the whole thing out for you, you'd be like, okay, that sounds like 100 different movies that I could just like pick out of a hat.
Yeah.
But just like, there's something special
to it. Yeah.
There's something special about it.
And the characters. This is a very good character piece, right? Because like Owen, what's his name? Owen Teague.
Owen Teague.
Yep.
He is fantastic. He's basically, he loses himself in that character, right? Because like you almost like believe, like he believes that he is this person.
Yeah.
And yeah, everyone's firing on all cylinders. It's a very good ensemble.
Sure.
Right. And the chemistry between everybody, especially between Everett and Owen, their chemistry is very, very good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a reason it won all the awards.
Absolutely.
Or why it cleaned up, because it's very well done.
Yeah.
Very well done. So I hope that this one,
this gets a little bit more, gets it a little bit more wide for sure.
Nice.
So a little bit more eyes can get on it.
for sure.
Yeah, it's hard. I would say it's probably hard to make a name for yourself in a space that's already so populated by a lot of other said movies that follow a very, 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 very similar. And it might be hard for it to sell that way too, like because it's going to be.
Well, you immediately called out "Call Me by Your Name," which it's,
and I've never even seen it.
Which it's not.
Yeah.
But when you think about "Call Me by Your Name,"
it has
some similarities.
Yeah. There's sort of a flow to these things that, you know what though, I say that, but even, you know, I think of any sort of coming of age movie that's ever happened, generally they all have a very sort of particular kind of flow.
Yeah.
So I would say like it's hard to carve yourself out. So for it to clean up and do so well at Tribeca is great.
Yeah, for sure. Mr. Tony, are we going to talk about a couple of the shorts before we close this off?
So that was all the features that we watched.
Amazing.
And some of the ones, and there's a few that we didn't.
And there's a few that we did not cover.
Yes.
Just a quick shout out to the shorts.
Sure.
Dave, did you want to give any shout outs?
You told me to watch this one, Fuck a Fan, which
was on my list for sure.
Which was quite the interesting short. Basically a viral porn star puts out a contest for her biggest fan to come and fuck her.
Right.
And when he gets there, he kind of like bears his soul to her and kind of he doesn't just want to fuck her type thing. And
he wants like an emotional connection.
He wants an emotional connection, and then they kind of develop an emotional connection over 24 minutes, and it's very well done.
Oh, nice.
Very, very well done.
Cool.
And, you know, it has a real banger title.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good title.
And then I also really liked Dirty Towel, which was
I watched that one too.
Which was about a teenage girl who has it's her first time having sex. And before she has sex, like when she's a kid, her mom makes the comparison to a towel type thing. Once you've had sex, or once you've done the deed type thing, like your towel is always dirty, and it only gets dirtier. So you shouldn't. Yeah. Outside like all that. So it's just her kind of coming to terms with, hey, I did this and it's okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So I thought that was very well done.
Yep.
There's another one called A Family Guide to Hunting, which was it goes to some dark places, and Margaret Cho's in it, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
Basically, like this family's out on a hunting trip and shit goes sideways.
All right.
And they have to kind of come together to come up with a resolution. And this is all in 15 minutes.
Wow.
And it's an intense 15 minutes.
Yeah, I bet. That sounds wild.
Did you see that one, Tone?
No, I didn't see that one.
And you should have. And then the other two I wanted to talk about or mention, one was called Complications, which was Norwegian. And it's about dominatrix doing a cam session with her, I guess the John.
Yeah, sure.
She's doing a cam session. He has a massive heart attack.
Oh, God.
And kind of like,
yeah.
And so, but his camera doesn't go off, so she's just watching. She's like,
God.
"Oh, you're fucking with me," type thing, and then he doesn't get up.
Oh,
so
God.
she has to come up. She has to figure out how to get a hold
of the
authorities to help this guy.
Yeah.
So just like
wild.
It's a wild ride. That's only 14 minutes. Wild ride.
Sure.
And then the last one that Tony also told me to watch, which I thought was kind of fun, was Learning English.
Yeah, love that one.
Which was 11 minutes, and it's a young woman from Where's she from? China?
China.
I think she's from China. She's Asian.
Sure.
She's from Asia.
Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah. It says it's in English Mandarin, so she's Chinese. She's newly to the States.
Yep.
And she's trying to learn English. And she's with her friend, and her friend's like, "Why the fuck do you care? Like, don't. You don't need to learn." And then she gets like a random phone call, and it's not the kind of phone call you think it is. And she just going with the phone call, but she's learning new English words along with
fun.
it. So and then just the antics in the restaurant as she's listening to this crowd.
Because they have the phone call on speaker,
yeah,
right? And they're in a live restaurant, so like there's shit happening on the other side of that call, and like it goes to like cuts away to like the other like restaurantees, and they're listening to it, and it's just
customers.
Restaurantees, it's all the same. I just made that word up for sure. The reaction shots are great, and this is just it's funny because it's
awkward as shit.
It's awkward as shit,
Sure.
And she's so innocent, right?
Yeah,
because she's learning new, and she's like learning new words and everything. And her friend is basically saying that like these people they don't care about you. You're not going to make friends with them, and all this stuff. And then after the phone call wraps up, she's like, "Hey, I made a new friend."
Love it.
Yeah, it was really. It's really cute. It's really cute.
Yeah,
but
really cute.
It's really vulgar, but it's really cute.
Yeah.
Tony.
The only other one I wanted to bring up was a film called Ruthless Blade. Basically, that is about a cat who imagines himself as a samurai warrior.
Sure.
And so it's like this big. It's animated. Animation style is absolutely incredible.
Neat.
So it goes through this cat, and he's like basically fighting as a samurai. And then when it like goes to like the punchline, it's just the cat dreaming basically, and it goes up. It's very cute.
That's fun.
Cute for like a gory fucking
Sure.
It's definitely violent as fuck.
Samurai thriller.
Loved it. I loved it. And then James, you watched one as well, right?
I did.
That was a little longer than
That was a little longer than the ones that we just listed off.
Yeah, it was almost a feature, but certainly probably the longest short.
TV episode, basically.
Yeah,
I think it is a TV episode.
Yeah,
I think so. Right?
It does play out like that.
Yeah, so it's called this. This really happened, and it's about two ladies who are dating the same man.
Ooh.
And you sort of follow it along as sort of the first one meets this guy, and then the second one meets this guy, and then how the stories sort of kind of merge.
Yeah.
And it's told in a very like sort of comedic way.
Well, they're basically they're telling it to the camera
for parts of it, yeah. But then there's like gags running through where like the red flags come out and like
it's an indie. It was in the indie episodic section, so
yeah,
that checks out.
Yeah, it would be a lot of fun, I guess, as a TV show if maybe there was like other sort of stories to happen as well.
It's very like web series esque, like CBC Gem kind of
it reminded me of
style.
Like almost like Broad City a little bit in a way too. And a little tongue in cheek too, because like the gentleman in this movie has no name for legal reasons, which I thought was very funny. So he was just referred to as
story.
Yeah, so. I found it very funny. It was based on he was just called the boy,
and every time like he said the name would be mentioned, it would just be blurred out, and it would just be boy across their mouth.
Yeah,
I like that.
That was fun.
So it was a lot of fun. It was really quick. It went by, but like I enjoyed watching it for the most part, and the way that it ends on a note of just like, huh, that's huh, and then they become their own red flags, which is also huh, but
it really happens. So
I mean, they're saying it. I'm believing it.
Yeah.
But it really did feel that way too. And like it felt very believable, but also that guy's a scumbag.
Oh, he's a fucking piece of shit. It's very David, it's very DIY.
Yeah.
Very DIY, very like that kind of like these guys they had a story and like the four of them like put it together basically.
Yeah.
But it was good.
So worth watching.
Yes.
Worth watching.
Yeah. It's 27 minutes. It's quick. It'll go by. And if you're going to watch an episode of TV of something else, you can watch this as an episode.
I do like half hour. I do like burning through half hour shows versus hour long ones.
Exactly. And this will feel you'll feel right at home with this one.
All right.
Cool.
So do you guys have anything else you want to say about Tribeca? Because I have one last thing I wanted to mention.
No. Take us home.
Go for it, buddy.
So the last thing I wanted to mention, I guess it's just for us, just as press and industry people.
Sure.
Everything had subtitles, proper subtitles.
Yeah.
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 And that's not something you
True.
see every day.
That's very true.
And so that was very refreshing.
Yeah. It is usually the Wild West when it comes to will subtitles be available, especially sometimes we get like Vimeo links and those are a little bit spotty whether there'll be subtitles. You hope.
Yeah.
You really hope and pray.
No, but
some
like
of them are the
yeah.
auto-generated captions too, which I believe I watched one screener link that we got like that, and I needed the auto-generated captions just to, and I was watching them like that's not even remotely close to what they're saying. Like we're not there yet, but yes, this was very nice on the piano.
I thought that was a very nice touch
On the
and
platform,
on the
right?
platform.
On the platform.
Yeah. And like the screeners we got also
Yeah.
had subtitles. And I just think that that's something that I hope going forward that more festivals or more apps
Absolutely.
kind of invest in,
Accessibility.
because the accessibility of that is like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And like, I know like we can hear and read properly, but I have to watch stuff lower for the kids. And then
I also just like watching stuff with subtitles.
I also like watching stuff with subtitles, but there are people who definitely
Who
need
need
the
it.
subtitles.
Yeah.
So it's just a lovely
Yeah.
thing. And it's something that I really want to commend Tribeca for including. And I hope that other festivals take note.
Yes.
And
Well done, Tribeca.
other platforms take note.
Yes. Yeah, I hope so. Because it is always, you're right. It's always some of the rest of the PNI platforms. Not so good.
Yeah.
Not so good when it comes to that accessibility level.
Yeah. So I love the accessibility, and I love that it's just easier for people who definitely need it,
Yeah.
who are able to use it.
Yeah, for sure.
So props for that, and just props in general, because that was our second year covering Tribeca remotely, and I really loved it again. And I really appreciate them having us
At some
be
point,
a part of the press corps for it.
yeah. At some
And-
point, we need to get out there.
Oh, yes.
Yes, definitely.
Oh, yes.
We got to start hitting some of these film festivals up that keep gracing us with wonderful P&I
Well,
privileges.
when my kids are a little older and I have like fuck you money, then yes, I can definitely do it.
anytime.
Gonna
Dave.
hit up New York. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can hit up New York for Tribeca.
I know we got some family down there. We can find
true.
a way to stay for the cheap. Getting down there's not the problem. It's the staying down there.
Yes, the
that's an
staying
issue.
down there is the issue, but I do appreciate them letting us cover
Absolutely.
again, and
We hope to be back next year.
we hope to be back next year. And congratulations on a great festival, guys.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tribeca.
Yeah. Thank you. Definitely. I'm starting to really love this festival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
It was a great time.
And to all of our regular listeners that aren't Tribeca, but also thank you, Tribeca. And if you want to be a regular listener, Tribeca, I don't even like I'm calling you Tribeca. Is the film festival itself listening to this podcast? I don't know. I don't know where we're at with AI yet.
They had an AI section.
Hilarious. So
Didn't go over well.
Yeah, I bet not. To the rest of our audience, stick around. Let's get into some more new things for you in a little bit. But for this will wrap up our bonus section coverage for you. I think we've given you a ton of stuff to watch, ton of stuff to look out for. And
Dave, what was your favorite?
You're really putting me on the
I'm
spot.
putting
Aren't
you
you?
on the spot.
Yeah,
James, what was your favorite?
You're really putting me on the spot.
probably the Shallow Tail.
Shallow Tail,
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dave, are you about the same?
Probably maybe Come Closer or Griffin, I think.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
swear to God, if you say that NBA documentary, I'm walking out. I'm leaving.
No, mine was definitely Group Therapy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That tracks.
Yeah.
That tracks.
And I think The Weekend is a close second.
Okay.
Yeah, I would put
Yeah.
The Weekend up there.
I want to see The Weekend. That's
Yeah.
that's definitely on my radar for sure.
But yeah.
Cool.
Close us off now, James, since Tony cut you off.
No, that's fine. It was a good call out. We should have said our favorites out of going through the entire list of films. Thank you, Tony.
You're welcome. Just kind of cover our bases.
I appreciate you.
Yes.
Appreciate you. And I appreciate all of you, both Tribeca and otherwise. And we will catch you on the next episode. Until then, I am your Tribeca film bro, Jimmy, and I'm here with
Big Tasty.
yeah. And
What did I even go with? Was it
Dastardly
Dastardly Dave.
You're gonna fucking say dastardly? Like fucking own it,
You gotta
buddy.
remember.
Oh,
the
I
names.
forgot. I forgot it. We were talking Tribeca. That's all I have been thinking about is
This is true.
Tribeca.
This is true.